Oh, right. Start with sitting on a bolster, please. Namaste. Thanks for joining me today. Chrissy and I are back. Nancy's wearing her Sedona shirt.
She's got an Arizona shirt too.
We just rolled in about 11 o'clock last night, so I'm exhausted. But I'm glad to be here, want to be here, then I'm gonna go home and take a nap. I have a lot to say about the trip, but I'm gonna try to tie it in with our series as best as possible. We've been doing a chakra series, and unfortunately, I only got to have one session with you for the heart, and that's usually my favorite one to cover. But we use heart all the time, because really when we're dropping into the body, we're trying to drop into the heart. So I know we talk about the heart a lot, but I thought we would move forward into the 5th chakra, which is the one above the heart center. So this governs the throat, the neck, the thyroid gland, our voice. It's about whether or not we're speaking up for ourselves, whether or not we're capable of helping and speaking up for another. Are we able to speak our truth and express our truth? That's kind of the main idea of the throat center. The color sometimes is depicted as a bright blue, so something like what Donna has here, or like the color of the box, but I like to go with this color. This is why I'm wearing it today, this kind of aquamarine or Caribbean blue sea color. Because the heart is green, and I typically think of the third eye being more of an indigo blue. So you could picture it bright blue or aqua blue. So just to get in a little bit with our practice today, and also including Sedona, I want to start off with the seated mountain pose. We'll do a little pranayama. But before we do that, I want to share with you that these chakras are called wheels of energy or wheels of life force. And I hadn't thought about this until this morning, but we could really look at those major energy centers that we're discussing today as the inner vortexes inside the body. And if you've been to Sedona or know about Sedona, it's well known for its energetic vortexes. And these vortexes show up in a lot of the famous formations: Bell Rock, Cathedral Rock, Boynton Canyon, the Airport Mesa Overlook. We tried to hit all the vortexes while we were there. And we had Allison there. So Allison is, tapped in and tuned in like to this other realm, which was really awesome to have her there, because she was saying it makes sense, right? The energy can change and shift in our body, right? These energy centers can sometimes be balanced or imbalanced. We could get stuck or blocked, and then we have to open it back up. So same with these vortexes. The energy may not just stay in this one place. They kind of shift and move a little bit. And as we were hiking around these areas, we started noticing that we had a physical response. So for instance, my heart would start racing. I don't know what yours did. Did yours race too? And my hands would start pulsating. So if you were paying attention, you actually had a physical response in your body when you were at these higher energetic fields. And in those moments where we recognized it and felt it, we would pause. We would stop talking. We would find a spot in the sun or in the shade and just be, and just meditate and be with it. And Allison was mentioning that, and I've heard this from another person who channels energy, that the vortexes in Sedona are tired right now and are drained right now because they've been so strong for so long, and it's well known for this, and people flock to it for that purpose. But the people that generally come want to take instead of give. And so I think that was an important message that we received immediately, because let's just face it, I wanted to take. I wanted to receive. And in that first hike, when she mentioned that, I had been in my head talking about what I wanted to release and what I wanted to receive. And when she mentioned it, I completely changed my attitude. And then I started giving gratitude and appreciation for the fact that they even existed and for the beauty that emanated specifically in those places. And I felt like I received more in those moments by giving. So I'm sharing this, so if you ever go there, try giving, because in the giving we will also receive, instead of just going and wanting to take. Something else that I wanted to mention about being in these vortexes, the juniper trees in these areas twist. And you can see the twisting trunks and limbs of these trees. And it's because of the massive amount of energy that's there. And I don't know if you noticed, Chrissy, I think I talked about it to somebody, and I think it might have been you. And around the Bell Rock area, they were clockwise. And there was some area near the Boynton Canyon where I saw one tree that was going counter. And typically when we're reading the chakras, when the energy is moving clockwise, like if you have a pendulum and you're testing the energy that's going clockwise, it's balanced. When it's counter, it's imbalanced. So in that area where the tree was twisting the opposite way, I didn't want to hang out there too long. It's imbalanced energy here, let's move on. There was in the Boynton Canyon a flute player. And I'm bringing this up because not only did we experience it while we were there, but I've been bringing up musical instruments and which ones go with each chakra. We talked about the first chakra being drums, that tribal sound. The second chakra being like bassoon, that deeper sound. And then bass guitar in the core, guitar and violin, the string instruments working our heartstrings. And when we move up to the throat, to the windpipe, to the mouth, it's the wind instruments. So it's things like the flute, the clarinet. And so we had and met this flute player. The first day, we went a day early. We were walking around and I knew this guy existed, and we weren't going straight up to the canyon, we were kind of parallel to it. And we heard the guy playing the flute. And I got excited. I said, you guys, I read about this guy. He's here every day, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending on the time of year. And he plays the flute. Not only does he play the flute, he chisels some of the red rocks, some of the stones down to a heart. And he gives it to everyone on the path that he meets. And he's this philosophical man, probably in his 60s, I would guess. I don't know. But he met up with us, talked with us, gave us these hearts. We told him we had heard him playing the flute, and we said we would be back in a couple of days. And a couple of days later, we got to take the entire group. We were going into Boynton Canyon as he was playing the flute. He was at one of the peaks at the very, very top. And not only did he play the flute, but he would stop in between the songs and he would talk about things like peace and love and connection. And there was a young man, probably in his 20s, that climbed up to the top with him and sat there. And every now and again, when they would pause, they would start talking about life. And you could tell that young man was looking up to him, literally looking up to him, but also metaphorically looking up to him as a guide, as a teacher. So it was really cool to witness. So we're going to start with seated mountain pose and do a little pranayama. Because we're going to emphasize this center, we're going to focus on the neck and the throat today in our postures. So let's start in seated mountain pose. Hands down to the lap, lifting up through the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in and sweep the arms up overhead. The palms will join together above the crown. The elbows are going to splay nice and wide. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Draw the navel in and up and trap the breath briefly at the heart. And then exhale, release the breath out. Inhaling. Using Uddiyana Bandha, holding the breath briefly before releasing it out. Another breath in. Retain. And let it go. So we're going to be listening to some shamanic journey music today. The drums and the flute. Lift the arms up overhead and then exhale, fan the arms down alongside your body. Inhale, you're going to take your right arm skyward, lean over, dropping your weight into your left hand. Curving to that side, take your hand to the back side of your skull. And then we're going to roll open through the chest and turn the chin and gaze upward. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. Affirming as you hold strength and courage, fill up my body cells. The strength and the courage to be able to speak and express your truth. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, sail the left arm skyward. Exhale, plop the weight into the right palm. Taking the side bend. Grabbing a hold of the backside of your head and opening up a little bit more. Turning the chin and the gaze up. Breathing in and out through the nose. We were lucky that before we left was a new moon, so as we stayed at our retreat house called Moon Dance, we had a crescent moon shining every night just above it. It was beautiful to behold. The shape that we're in is called crescent moon. Inhale, come back up to the top. Exhale, release your hands to your lap. All right, we're going to do a little work with the neck. So just so you know, I used to circle the neck. I do not do that anymore because we use a physical therapist in our teacher training who says the neck, even though we can do it, it's not a ball and socket, joints. So we're just going to do particular movements that she says is good, okay? So inhale, we're going to lift the chin and tip the nose up towards the sky. And just go into the comfort level of your own personal neck. And then exhale, bow just your head without compromising your posture, chin to chest. Inhale, opening the throat, gazing up. Exhale, spill the chin back to the chest. All right, one more. Inhale, throat opens wide. Exhale, bow the head. Inhale, chin in line with the chest. And then slowly turn the gaze to the right. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. All right, so this is what we're kind of emphasizing in our postures today. Inhale, center, and you can take the bolster and slide it away for now. Now, we're going to start in a prone position next. So I would recommend opening up a blanket, smoothing it out. And we're going to come at first into a pose where we slide the right knee up in line with the hip. Foot comes off the mat. We're going to create cactus arms. We saw the most beautiful cacti on the way from Phoenix up to Sedona, the big daddies. And then we saw some really cool other ones in Sedona. But we're going to create the cactus arms and turn to the left ear. close your eyes and take rest. Listen to the flute when it plays in the background. If you're breathing diaphragmatically, the belly will really grow and expand on the inhalation. Deflating on the exhalation. But I also want to advise you that the Ujjayi pranayama, that whispering sounding breath where you constrict the back of the throat, is a great breath for this chakra. So I want you to consider for a moment if you have any signs of an imbalance in the center. The imbalances are excessive talking and not listening, stuttering, fear of speaking up or in public, extreme introversion, or extreme shyness. If you've had any trauma, such as lying, that's affected you at a really deep level, any type of verbal abuse, excessive yelling, excessive criticism, secrets, authoritarian parents that are now never allowed you to speak up, or any chemical dependent family that made you not trust and to speak less and not to feel. You may need some more healing in this area. So maybe practice this Ujjayi breath, where it's that light whispering sound. And it's also very therapeutic for laryngitis. Remainder of the time, listen to your breath or the music. Inhale, let's go ahead and slide the right leg back. Lift your head up, walk the arms in just enough so that you can slide your left knee up alongside your hip. Flip onto the inside of the foot, come back to cactus arms, roll down to the chest and right ear. So we're gently stretching the neck here, along with opening the chest, shoulders, and hips. I often refer to this chakra as being the bridgeway between the head and the heart. And we often mention the breath, the wind of the breath being the connection or the bridge between the mind, body, the body, spirit. The sense that goes with this chakra is hearing. This is about listening to our own intuition, our higher self. It's also about listening when we're communicating with others. And for now, you can just listen to the music as you relax. On your next inhale, go ahead and slide your left leg back behind you. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Cross your arms and pick up your chest. And we're going to go to passive crocodile. So place your forehead down to your arms, creating that breezeway so that you have some space between your face and the floor. Shimmy your hips slightly side to side, rocking them back and forth, ensuring that you're not gripping or holding in your belly, low back, or buttocks. And then return to stillness. Once you return to stillness, we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And blow the wind of the breath out through your mouth. Twice more, inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Final one. And softly close the lips. Relax your jaw. And shift into diaphragmatic breathing. Letting your belly balloon as you breathe in. Allowing the belly to soften as you breathe out. So really, just about any type of pranayama is a great medicinal practice for the fifth chakra. On your next inhalation, walk your legs so they're side by side. Lengthen them back behind you. Press down to the top portions of the feet. Lift your head and chest and come to Sphinx. So your elbows are going to line up underneath the head and shoulder bones. Your forearms are parallel, fingers splayed apart. Jet up through the crown of your head so that you're lengthening the sides of your neck. Look straight ahead with your eyes. Keep your legs active, your glutes firm, and breathe. So we typically think about this as being for the heart chakra, a good back strengthener, but notice we are incorporating the roots through the legs. And if we're really lifting through the crown of the head, then we're activating this fifth chakra through the neck. Take one more breath. And on the exhale, slide your feet slightly apart, soften the buttocks again, give that little wiggle, and then you're going to bow your head. So this way we're going to be a little bit more passive. When the head droops down, just let it naturally hang. No force. Allow it to open up the ligaments alongside the vertebrae. A little bit more traction in that. So I really messed up my body on the airplane coming home last night because I was getting in all these funky positions to try to sleep. And it's showing up in my low back and in my neck today. And there's times where we do get a poor night's sleep or we get a crick in the neck when we wake up. And we have to be really cautious with that as we try to work out the tension. Let's slowly begin to turn or hang the head slightly to the right shoulder. Just so we can feel that stretch coming from the back of the left ear, the side of the neck, to the top of the left shoulder. This is usually where some of those cricks tend to show up in the neck. Hopefully, if you have a knot here through the end of the practice, maybe it'll start to unravel. Stay focused on your breath. And then draw the head to center, and then slightly lean it to the left. Again, feeling the stretch from the back of the ear to the top of the shoulder. There may be more or less tension on the side. Feel free if the eyes are closed to picture that beautiful Caribbean blue sea. That color of aquamarine. Art's going to be joining me in Greece next year, and even looking at the pictures around the Greek Isles, it seems like the Mediterranean may have that same type of color as this fifth chakra. So imagine that in your mind's eye. Imagine it flowing through you like water. The element happens to be more etheric, but it can also be sound and vibration. Now bring the head to center, lift the head up in a lofty way again. And then exhale, roll down towards your chest. Slip your hands up underneath your shoulders, push up and back. Have your knees crawl forward to the blanket. Let your arms slide out in front for extended child's pose. Your head is just going to rest inside your upper arm, so the neck's more neutral here. Inhale, rock forward, down through the hips, up through the head, tilting the head back to open the throat wide. And then exhale, pressing back into extended child. We're going to do that a few more rounds. Inhale, coming forward to up dog, putting the emphasis in the neck and throat. And then exhale, neutralize it as you fold back. Couple more rounds. Nice and slow breathing, slow execution and movement. Feel free to use diaphragmatic or Ujjayi pranayama. Last one. Now, go ahead and walk your hands in. Separate your knees slightly wider, tadpole. You're flipping your left hand, looping that arm under, sinking down to the left ear. And you have a choice to either rest your right arm or to hook it behind your back. You may receive a little bit more in your neck if you hook your arm behind you, but again, yogi's choice. Working the arms and shoulders works with the heart chakra. Turning of the head with the throat center. Some of the shoulder work we do also affects the neck. The center is called Vishuddha, and it means purification. We say all the time, the breath and the breath control helps to purify the mind. Use your breath wisely here. Clear your mind. If the right arm is hooked behind your back, go ahead and release it. Come back up. And we'll go immediately to the other side. So spread the right arm under. Yogi's choice to rest the left arm or to hook and loop it behind your back. There's some days where that may feel really good and inviting, and there's other days where you may feel resistance somewhere. So if you feel a lock or a resistance, don't force it, just let it go. Honor your truth, and what is your truth today? Go into the act of listening. Listening internally or externally to the music and the flute. Release the left arm if it was wrapped and unwind from that position. Draw the knees so they're parallel. Stay on the blanket because you may enjoy the extra padding. Rock forward to tabletop position. From tabletop position, we're going to inhale, take cow. Again, focusing on the throat here. Curl the toes under. Draw in through the navel and push up and back to downward facing dog. And in down dog, we neutralize the neck. The head just naturally hangs between them so that you're sending your gaze back towards them. Press through the palms, lengthen through your limbs. Exhale, come back to your knees. Inhale, cow chips. Open your throat. Exhale, neutralize the neck. Plug the navel in and press back. Downward facing dog. This is our new flow. Hold here for an extra breath. And then exhale, sink to the knees. Inhale, cow. Exhale, navel in, neck neutral, and then press back to Adho Mukha. We're going to do one more of those. Inhale, extend through the spine. Exhale, drop back to your knees. Inhale, sway the back, lift the chin. Exhale, plug the navel in, neutralize the neck, and power back to downward facing dog. Now from downward facing dog, let's go ahead and take that blanket and shed it away. Once you do that, you're going to walk the feet forward and up towards the hands. Once the feet land side by side, pour over to your Uttanasana. But this time in Uttanasana, we're going to straighten the legs and we're going to bow the head more as if we're trying to look up towards our navel. So it's more of a chin tuck today. Inhale, let your arms circle wide and build you up to upward worship. Exhale, we're going to flow down to Uttanasana, tucking the chin to the chest today. All right, 3 more of those. Inhale, coming up, upward worship. As if you were looking up towards those red formations. And exhale, bow in, chin to chest. Continue. One more. This next time when we come up, don't lift the head up. Just bring the arms up and keep your gaze centered and straight ahead. And then exhale, cross your arms behind your back. Left arm first, right arm beneath that. And then we're gonna lower the left ear towards the left shoulder. Feel free to close the eyes. So you're not pushing your head down, it's just draping down. Inhale, head up. Exhale, tilt over to your right. It's really cool to see when we were at this VBRV, it was some of the, it was like a ceremonial ground where the shamans would go to paint, you know, or engrave into the stone, the different shapes and symbols. We learned that some of those symbols were actually showing the winter solstice, the summer solstice, when to plant, dependent upon when the sun was shining on the symbols. So it was like their calendar. Really fascinating. Inhale, bring the head back up. Release the arms. All right, when you're ready, we're gonna step back with the right foot. And when you step back with the right foot, you're gonna turn that foot so it's not completely parallel to the back of the mat, but where the heel is slightly back further than the toes. Your torso is facing the front door and that front leg is really straight. So face the front door with your hands to your hips. So Nancy, turn a little bit more with your chest. There you go. Then extend your arms out and Debbie, straighten your left leg. We're gonna go into triangle. There you go. Really reach through the fingertips, lengthen out over the front leg and windmill down to triangle pose. Reaching that right hand up in the air. Now I want you to neutralize your neck. Keep it in line with the remainder of the spine. You're gazing towards the windows. Okay, and then we're gonna add in some movement with the head, but first plant the feet, engage the legs, push back through the hips. On your in-breath, slowly turn your gaze up. Hasta drishti, towards your hand. On your next out breath, turn your gaze down towards the left foot. And so notice how when you were starting to look up, it could have maybe made you a little wobbly. It's also a great way to explore, you know, your imagination, reaching for the stars, symbolic of that. But gazing down can be really grounding and stabilizing. So know that you can always turn your gaze down this way, including the throat chakra, but also getting a little bit more firm in your feet. Exhale, lunge the front knee, bring the hands down, spin away from that back heel. When you're ready, springboard the back foot forward, lift up halfway up on arrival. Your hands are coming to your shins. We're gonna keep the neck in line with the spine. So you don't have to look necessarily all the way to the front wall, just slightly forward and out before you, maybe about 4 to 5 feet. All right, inhale, coming back up. Exhale, breathe out. Inhale, step back with your left foot. Check in with that foot placement. Straighten through the legs. Turn your torso to face the other wall. And then extend your arms out. Lengthen over the right leg. Exhale, windmill down to triangle. And breathe. What was also interesting at that ceremonial ground I was just mentioning, they had a whole wall that was the masculine wall that talked about the sun. And it was the masculine roles within the tribes. And then there was a secondary wall that the sun did not face, where it was the feminine figures. It was the moon wall, what represented the feminine and their roles. Now slowly turn your gaze up, as if you're looking towards the stars and constellations above. I cannot express how beautiful it was to stargaze in Sedona. No light pollution, nothing to get in the way. We even saw the Milky Way. I think Chrissy was the most excited about that. And then turn your gaze down and notice the difference energetically. So please recognize that even though traditionally we gaze up, that may not be the best solution for you. This may be better. Even keeping the neck neutral, gazing towards the side wall may be the best medicine for you. All right, let's lunge that front knee. Let's bring the hands down, spin away from the back heel. Coming into that low lunge. Okay, we're gonna step forward again like we did on the previous side. But anyone with poor knees, please come on down to the floor. If you have healthy knees and you want to drop towards toe balance, you can do that first. Sometimes it's snap, crackle, pop. Come on down if that's a lot for your knees though. If you can though, erect the spine, take the hands overhead like we did in seated mountain pose. If you're coming to the floor, just do seated mountain pose, what we did in the very beginning, sitting cross-legged with your arms overhead in this way. Gazing straight ahead, the neck is neutral here, chin parallel to the floor. And then exhale, spray the hands beside you, and we will all come down to the ground. All right, so at this juncture, I want you to have your block close by. This is a good position, and bring it on back. And we're gonna scoop in through the belly. Scoop in through the belly so that you can lower down to your back, and you can hold the back of your thighs. This is a gentle practice to assist. Once your head lowers, walk your feet back so the heels are lining up under your knees. We're going to be active in our first two bridge poses. Now, bridge pose, waterfall pose, shoulder stand, plow pose are all ideal for this chakra. All right, so bring your hands down beside you and roll the outer arms towards the floor. Press down through the soles of the feet and start to energetically lift your thighs, hips, abdomen, chest. Find your degree of flexibility with your back. Keep your glutes firm, your thighs rolling in. Feel the traction in your neck. Keep your neck still. Head motionless for now. Breath full. And affirming, I offer every thought as a bridge to divine grace. Exhale, lower down to the floor. Hug your knees into your chest. Contract your belly by piercing the navel in, lifting the head up towards the knees. Cannonball. Gently descend to the upper back. Drop the feet to the sticky mat. Arms alongside you, palms face down. Deltoids activate, shoulders roll to the floor. Notice how when you roll your outer arms towards the floor, the center of your chest pops open. That's what we want. Press through the soles of the feet. Lift thighs, hips, abdomen, chest. If you need to stay here, be here, okay? But if you want to go a little deeper, rock and tuck one shoulder at a time beneath you. Maybe see if you can interlace your hands, extending the arms, pushing down through the pinky fingers, keeping your knees narrow. Again, breath is full. Your upper back is cinching in. This It's good for the thyroid gland, for the neck, the throat, strengthen the back and the glutes, the hamstrings. It's good for the spleen. But when we're activating the muscles, it can be heating. All right, now separate your hands, spread your shoulders, and roll it down. Hug the knees in as a counter. And if it's not good to keep all that traction in your neck, is like in cannonball, then you can just stay here. Otherwise, lift your forehead towards your knees. Gently roll back down. Now we're going to do the passive and cooling version of Setu Bandhasana. So grab your block. You only need to activate the muscles enough to tuck the tailbone and lift so that the block can scoot up underneath your sacrum. Now, I'm going to open my arms slightly away from the sticky mat with the palms spun open. And please know that any inversion is going to be good for these higher centers. So notice the hips are higher than the heart is higher than the throat. Keep breathing. Just relax the muscles and let it be cooling to your mind and nervous system. If you want to explore cactus arms, you can do that. And if you want to go into waterfall, a deeper inversion, we're going to lift the feet in the air. Now, I did shoulder stand and plow and blissful flow. This is going to be it for us today in gentle. So flying the feet up. We were lucky in Sedona because they had recently had a monsoon. It watered and rained on everything. It brought back all the wildflowers in the desert. And the grass was green, the trees were green. Instead of it being scorched by the sun. When we were visiting the cliff dwellings at Palaki, we were shown that all through the red rocks, that when they get tons and tons of rainfall, like in that monsoon season, there's waterfalls that come down from those formations and it leaves a black streak behind. So anywhere the black streaks were coming down, we knew there had been once a waterfall. Notice the draining of the fluids of your lower body. You might even be able to feel that within. This is good for varicose veins. This is good for our lymphatic tissues. It's good for circulation. Firm mentally within, new peace, new consciousness floods down and through my being. As you exhale, land the feet. Tuck the tailbone, squeeze the buttocks to remove the block from below. And gently roll down. I want you to take your arms out like a T. Barely float the feet above the floor. And let the knees roll off to the left. If you need a prop under or in between the knees, add it in. But we're going to incorporate the neck and the twist today. So with your knees to the left, turn your head to your right shoulder. If there is any pain or strain in the turning of your neck, please turn it to the left instead. Try the right, but if there's any pain or strain, take it to the left instead. Sorry about the leaf blower.
Try to turn these up.
Some of the healing practices for the throat is chanting, singing, storytelling, journaling, any type of talk therapy or sacred silence. Inhale, rotate the head to center and your knees to center. Exhale, cross the knees over to the right. Again, propping if you need to. And try your attempt at turning your head to your left shoulder. But again, if there's difficulty, turn it to the right. And that's just bringing the twist on up into the neck. When you're ready, roll the head to the center and then completely over to your right side. So you can push down into the left hand to come up. All right, so what I thought we would try for Shavasana is a restorative fish. This fish helps to open the throat. So you'll need a bolster and go ahead and have a blanket in a short fold like this, just in case you need it. So you'll need the blanket. If you take this position solo and you have discomfort in your low back, you're gonna have the blanket in front of you and you're gonna sit on the blanket to take that away. If you can't roll all the way over to have the arms and the head and the neck in a comfortable manner, you're gonna take the blanket on the far side for some padding. I'll show you without the blanket first. So the restorative fish looks like this. So if the neck is too cranked, the blanket would go underneath your head and shoulders. If your low back is uncomfortable, you'll scoot it up underneath your seat. Explore your options, and if it just doesn't feel good at all, like Demi already knows what he needs for his back. He's doing something different. So if you want to model what he's doing, you're welcome to change it up. This center is all about personal expression and communication. I want you to consider for a moment how you communicate with others and yourself. We know the tongue can be sharp as a knife, but words can also be soothing and comforting. Our thoughts can be the same way. So be mindful of your thoughts as you drift into relaxation. This is what we're monitoring. And I'm going to give you some affirmations that you can begin reciting internally, and then I'm going to let you be by yourself. So affirm mentally within. My voice matters. I have the right to speak up and be heard. I hear and speak my truth and express myself with clear intent.
Hearing the sound of the bell chime, take that as your cue to deepen your breath.
To awaken the extremities of the body and your hands and feet. And then bending your knees and rolling away. And propping yourself back onto the bolster as a seat. Just imagine the crown of your head being like the peak of a mountain, your arms being its slopes, your lap being its base. Just picture in your mind's eye this mountain being like the red rock of Sedona. Listening to the flute back. This way, we're bringing Sedona to you. If you've been there before, transport yourself into that space. If you haven't, just use your imagination. Bringing your hands to join together to prayer. May we all benefit from this practice. May we walk away with a balanced fifth chakra. And may we continue our yoga off the mat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. So Wednesday will be more gentle restorative. We're going to do a little bit of action in the beginning, and then we're going to probably maybe 15 minutes of movement, and then 45 minutes of restoring. Okay.
Hi, Wendy. Perfect class. Good, good, good.